Continuous praise to the Most High God, King of heaven and earth, even the God of our forefathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Yitzchak, and the God of Israel. To him and to him alone are all due praises. Brothers and sisters, we thank you for joining us this evening. We are Congregation ShomrayHabreet, and we are the keepers of the covenant. We give thanks and praise to the Most High God for all things, for everything, even for allowing us to be here for this Torah study. Even another important topic in our Torah study concerning the relationship dilemma. And we're going to talk about a lot of things tonight. Y'all going to hear me going back and forth with this young lady right here about the importance of courting and if courting is actually a requirement and how much we've seen it in our Tanakh. And, you know, we're going to do it all the pros and the cons. I'm just telling y'all right now, she's going to be telling me how about, like, yeah, it's important, yeah, it's important, yeah, it's important. And I'm going to be like, yeah, but how many people actually do it? And right, and, you know, we'll be going back and forth. And then we're going to talk about some other important things, arranged marriages, right? And how those things work out. And the importance of communication. And learning to respect each other concerning our differences of opinions, but learning to live together in order to have fruitful relationships moving forward. Easier said than done, right? Always works out like that. Always like, yeah, just do this like this, do that like that. Follow the manual. And what happens? There's always a wrinkle. There's always something. Oh, what about? And oh, I didn't know, and things of that nature. So I want us to keep that in mind. We'll continue to build and grow and see the different things that we need to do. And let's have the conversation. So everybody, let's open up our Tanakh. Take them out at this time. Let's begin to delve into the Word of God because your spiritual journey awaits. Brothers and sisters, please rise and face the east and let us say a prayer. Hallelujah.
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 Yehovah God, God of the heavens, the God of our forefathers, even the God of Abraham, the God of Yitzchak, and the God of Israel. We give you thanks and praise, Yehovah God, for all things, for everything, even for blessing us to make it to another Torah study, for causing us to understand that we should open up the book of your law, that we should consider about righteous relationships, and we should consider how our relationships could get better, not only before one another, but before you. For Yehovah God, you desire righteous marriages and righteous relationships. And therefore, we ask Yehovah God that you magnify Torah in our eyesight this day. We ask Yehovah God that as we open up the book of your Lord, that you would speak through us and you would give us words and you would give us understanding, that we might know and understand how to do right things before you. And in this very specific topic of courting, Yehovah God, we ask Yehovah God that we say nothing false before you or before your people, but that we might understand, Yehovah God, the way our forefathers got things done, the way Abraham and Sarah survived through their marriage, the way that Yitzchak and Rivka survived through their marriage, and the way that Yaakov survived with Leah, Rachel, Bilhah, and Zilpah in their marriage, Yehovah God. And we ask, Yehovah God, that you magnify Torah in our eyesight always, and that, Yehovah God, you would allow us to bless, praise, and glorify your most high and most holy name. That even when our children to look to us, they can look to us as examples, Yehovah God, of what we need to do and would follow the instructions that we give them in order that, Yehovah God, they might be right before you. We call upon you because we realize that you are God and God alone, and that beside you there is no other. All glory, all honor, and all praises unto your name now forevermore. Hallelujah. Amen. Brothers and sisters, please attend to the sound of the horn.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Continuous prayer. Even the God of our forefathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Yitzchak, and the God of Israel. Once again, all due praises to his most high and his most holy name. All right. So I'm going to put it up there one more time. Oh, before we get to that, brothers and sisters, quick message. Um, I want to remind everyone this evening that our fast of the 4th month will be this coming Wednesday. Okay, this coming Wednesday, July, what is that, 21st? Let me make sure I got my dates right, which it should be. This coming Wednesday, well, this technology, July 20th, excuse me. This coming Wednesday, July 20th, and we'll be making announcements for it periodically throughout the Shabbat, from now until the Shabbat. ShomrayHabreet, we will be doing our fast from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. This will be a dry fast, no food or no water. We are going to be fasting for Torah clarity, to understand, to have knowledge and wisdom and understanding of the Torah and how God wants us to observe his laws. As you know, we have a lot of confusion in our community concerning when new moon is, concerning when the Shabbat is to be observed, concerning what we're talking about tonight, righteous relationships. We have confusion even of when the Shabbat starts and begins, and we're doing it so many different ways. And it's time for us to begin to fast and to ask the Most High God to give us clarity. Now, when I say clarity, not necessarily clarity of what to do, but clarity of how all of us could come together and come to a common understanding. All right. So by asking that the Most High God give us Torah clarity. So this Wednesday, July 20th, from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., this will be a dry fast. No food, no liquids, from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. No, it is not a holy day. You can go about your regular activities as you will, but we will be fasting on that day. So there's the fast of the 4th month and the fast of the 5th month. We will be having another fast in the month of Av, which is next month. That will be announced also soon, and it will more than likely be the 3rd week in August. But for right now, once again, our fast will be July 20th, this coming Yom Revi'i, or Wednesday to those who don't understand Hebrew, from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. We will be going live for the last hour, which there will be some prayers and a short lesson to break our fast. All right, brothers and sisters? Okay, let's get back to our topic. And our topic is the relationship dilemma part 2. Now, who remembers the relationship dilemma part 1? Yeah. I was like, well, we talked about it already. Got a lot of things going on, right? There were a lot of things going on. And we were talking about righteous relationships and the importance of righteous relationships and things of that nature. And we realized that there were many layers to this, correct? And we said we're going to have a 2, probably a 3, 4, 5, 6, and also a 7, right? Because it's only right if we do it in 7s, right? That's how we do it. So now, today, we are going to do the layer of quoting and the scriptures. And as usual, I'll allow Koyak here to open us up on this topic to give us a few things. So, you seen the Torah study? You seen I brought it up? You seen quoting in the scriptures? Tell me, what came to your mind?
Quoting the scriptures. A practice. Should I turn my mic down? Something that we don't see in the scriptures, but it's a good practice. We're getting to know someone before finally making that decision to marry them.
Did you say something that we don't see in the scriptures?
Well, people don't talk about it. They'll say,
okay,
courting is not in the scriptures, but I like to use Jacob and Rachel.
Okay.
Because although Leah was given to him, Laban, it was a rule there. They don't give the daughter, the oldest daughter before the youngest, and he had to set ground. He had to work for her. So to me, that was almost like courting. He didn't just dive right into her.
Okay.
It wasn't like that. He had, even though he was working for her, he was still getting to know her. He
Yeah.
was still getting to know her. Um, Although he didn't get to know Leia like that, I don't think that was his focus, but still, he still waited
So you do acknowledge that he didn't get to know Leia like that.
because that wasn't his focus.
Okay. But she still became his wife.
Yes, she did.
Okay.
Because
And she
later
still operated as his wife.
came.
Okay. I got a question. Did she ever say, um, the reason why we have the problems that we have is because we didn't court?
No, she did not say that.
Okay. Do Israelites do that in this day and time? See, we going right in.
Yeah.
We just might as well just start off hot, right? Go ahead.
So you gotta look at the situations that people go through. You know, um, people want to know, is this person right for me, male and female? Is this person right for me? I need to know their background. What type of history do they have? Do they have a history of being abusive? Do they have a history of just doing certain things that make their character wrong? And if that's the case, let me find out. I don't want to jump into a relationship so quick that later on I find out these bad things and I regret having to be with this person, because people say, oh, courting is not important. And then in the courting process, um, flesh shouldn't be involved because now emotion starts coming into play and it start messing with your judgment. It start overshadowing emotions and the truth about the person. I laid with him, but now I don't like his character. 2 weeks into courting, you know, I laid with her, but now I don't see her as a virtuous woman because you looked at the flesh first instead of getting to know her mental or his mental. How is he or she spiritually? What is her views in life? What is their views in Torah? Are y'all mashing well together? Do y'all think the same when it comes to the Creator? Or is there differences? Why should we find some of these things out later on and then regret being with that person?
Interesting. Very opinionated on this topic. This is
Very
what I'm
opinionated.
talking about. So y'all know I'm always trying to get like some information out of her.
Well,
But this is good. This is
I
good.
have
Come on.
I have children, more, we have children. And I don't want them in a position to where they get caught up because they don't know this person and they wish they would have waited. Peer pressure. A lot of men manipulate the mind. It's true. They have that gift to do that. And when you have someone who's a virgin, who has not known men, and she's easily persuaded, he can say, I love you. He can say all these things just to hurry up and rush her. And she falls into that because of his words. And then she comes to find out this is not what the guy said he was.
And
How is she
courting
gonna know
prevents
that?
this from happening.
I believe so, because you're getting to know the person. Not saying you're going to know everything about them in the courting process, because it takes time to build a relationship. It
Okay.
takes time. But fundamental things, are we serving the same God? Let
Mhm.
me check out your family background. If you come from a family background that has abusive men, I can't see my daughter marry into that family because that's all they know. And I don't need her to be a victim of that, even with the females. If
Well,
my
she's
son,
courting him. How do you know what he's going through?
well, I don't.
And I'm just
I
asking, like,
courting.
is it a requirement of yours for your children to tell you what's happening in the courting process?
I would like to know. Yes, I do. I think
Okay.
it's very important because it's not about them. It's about families coming together.
Hmm.
It's not just about them two.
Okay.
Even with the young men, you know, I don't want my
Uh-huh.
son's marrying to women who's very loose. and brothers coming and telling him, oh, I was in her.
Okay, so like Esau, the daughters of hate were a vexation to his parents. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
Right? It's in the book of Genesis. You read about that. So his parents didn't approve of who he took.
Right.
So my question to you, do you feel he courted those women? And this is an opinion-based question. The Tanakh does not tell us.
He could have.
He could have? Do you feel he did? I'm just saying, you know, I'm going to ask you another question about some other Israelites. It's possible.
Yeah.
Okay. Remember Joseph?
Mm-hmm.
Son of Yaakov? Went into Egypt, spent 13 years in jail.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Right.
Got out of jail, became second in command to Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yes.
Then they gave him a wife.
Cain.
Asenath.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel they courted?
I believe they did. I believe it was a process. You talking about royalty here. I believe they did. They could have. I mean, it's my opinion. I believe they did. They could have. And if they didn't, I believe that
if they didn't.
Go ahead. Again?
No. I don't mean to cut you off. Come on.
But yeah, I believe they could have.
Okay. But you do leave the door open that possibly it didn't. Okay.
They got to know each other.
Moses and Zipporah.
We don't know every little, of course, we don't know every little detail, every little hour, minute, month in these scriptures. And that's the thing about the scriptures. We speculate, right? So
okay, I'm sorry, excuse me.
Go.
Okay, so does the scriptures tell us of people who were actually in arranged marriages and it had nothing to do with courting? These two had to marry each other. Do our scriptures tell us that?
I haven't read that.
You haven't read that? No. Never. Okay. David and Michal. Did they court? Listen, we're all here to grow in knowledge. I'm just throwing some things out there. And I'm going to tell y'all my position on courting. I'm just letting the listening audience know I want us to look at both sides of the coin. We're not going to sit here and act like there's only one view and that's it. So if y'all know, I listened to everything the Coach Yakia had to say. Even in times when I started cutting her off, I let her finish. So David and Michal, Saul, who is the father of Michal, he said, whoever brings back 100 foreskins of the Philistines, as wild as that sounds to us, gets my daughter Michal. So, my question to you, did David call Michal? It's all right, you know, this isn't one of those, see, I told you and blah, 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 blah. It's us growing, because I'm going to talk about the courting process in a second. But I want to hear your opinion.
It doesn't appear that way.
Doesn't appear to be that way. Okay, David and Abigail, the wife of Nabal. Nabal died, and David sent for her. Did they court? Okay. In the book of Judges, in the book of Joshua, Caleb and Joshua, remember? Caleb said, whoever goes up to take these springs will have my daughter to wife. And Othniel went up and took the springs.
Okay.
Did they court?
No.
Okay, so my thing that I'm going to say is that we do have some scriptural evidence that shows that maybe some people didn't court. And we do have the idea that, you know, courting is important. Now, as a quote Yakia has not so faintly alluded to us, right? She said, the word courting, we don't even see that in Tanakh. You might see it in your King James version, but in our scriptures, when we refer back to the Hebrew, you don't see the word courting. You don't see any of those things. You see where people talk about a betrothal and things of that nature. But mostly, the way our forefathers did, if these marriages weren't arranged, they were under contract. Okay, this is how this is work. This is how this will work. You work for me, and who do you want? Right? And, I could have went there, but I'm just throwing it out there for information. With Yitzhak and Rebecca, with Isaac and Rebecca, that is a clear indication that was an arranged marriage, that no courting process was going to take place. All right? So I want us to keep that in mind, because the reality is that when we talk about courting, some people did and some people didn't. And a lot of times I think we blame our problems on the fact that we didn't court, we didn't get to know each other, we don't know the type of relationship that we're in, as opposed to dealing with things in the situation of saying, how are we going to resolve our issues? Or how am I going to change my ways that aren't right before the Lord? Right? So sometimes you got to get to know some people, because sometimes you might think like they're way out there. I need y'all to read between the lines when I say they're way out there. Right? Sometimes they might be out there. But, I like it. F. Maureen Allen be on point. Said, sporting but not courting. I hear that. I hear that. Don't want to talk, but you want to sport like how Yitzhak sported with Rebecca, who was already his wife. Remember that part. All right? So, within all of that, I say that courting is important. See, I said it. There, y'all got me. Courting is important. Okay, this is the part y'all not gonna like, but it's not required. Courting is important, but it's not required. But just know this, for all you brothers who are like, that's right, it's not required. You live with what you choose. And that's the issue. You got to live with what you choose. And that doesn't mean that you can't correct the situation, but you can't sit down and say, oh, I don't need to talk to her. I know I love her. This is who I want. She appeals to my eyes. And then the next thing you know, you don't want to do husbandly duties like how it's required. Right? It's clear that David and Michal had issues. David and Michal had major issues. But the reality is, David still dealt with her as a husband. It was her job to still deal with her, for her to still deal with him as a wife.
Right.
And I want y'all to understand this. When her father wanted to kill David, Michal was the one who saved him. Did we forget about that part? Remember, she left the teraphim in the bed to make it seem like that's where he was, and she let him out through a window. She still dealt with him like a wife. They loved each other. Unfortunately, her father, the way he was pulling the strings, right? That became something different. So, tell me, let's talk about some points of courting, because we're gonna do it all tonight. What's an important part of courting? You tell me. And everybody who's in the chat, don't be afraid to type it in also. What's an important part of courting?
Discipline.
Discipline? Meaning what? Not touching one another, discipline? I'm asking.
Came
Okay,
because,
discipline. I'm sorry.
like I said, the physical can make you think something else. Oh, I'm ready when you're not ready because you're just looking at the appearance, or I kissed her and I just fell in love with the kiss. I don't want to wait no more. I need him or her right then and there. That, that kind of way. It can,
Courting, courting brings you there?
it can if you're not disciplined.
Okay, so all right, I'm gonna have to blow this thing wide open.
Oh,
People start courting, and sometimes you put yourself in a position that you can't be disciplined because y'all are sitting next to each other, because y'all are close to one another. You've already had these feelings before you seen the person in close proximity. Now you are with the other person in close proximity. So everything you were dreaming about the person, you do. But here's the reality. If I plan to marry the person, shouldn't I see them like that? Shouldn't I want to do those things? I'm not saying it should happen in the courting process. But if I'm going to have discipline and I'm thinking about the person who I want to be with, then clearly when I'm close to them, that's what I'm going to want to do. Is that right or wrong?
that's correct.
So sometimes you got to be disciplined enough to court and give yourself a good distance from the person that you like. But what is supposed to be happening during courting? Give me some more.
Communication. Communication.
Communication, major part of courting. I think a quote Ahavia says, I got to read the first part. She says, I agree. Courting is important, but not required. I'm not going to get off that communication part. Give me 1 second to quote Yakia. However, whether someone chooses to court or not, we have to use wisdom. If you don't court, perhaps your parents have already chosen a spouse for you, and they already know their family values, etc. Well, guess what? Some people are grown already. So the parents aren't part of the process. And our forefathers, whether we like it or not, sometimes you had older men with younger women. See this quick fast? We should grow and mature and Yah together. We must learn to understand and respect each other. That's part of your communication part, right, Akko Yakia?
Okay.
And right there, it's like communicate. Can I talk to this person? Is this person interested in me or in how I look? Ladies, that's near and dear to all of y'all, right? Is this person interested in me or how I look? The question is whether or not we are instilling this in our children and people in this generation. Koyakia says she wants to be involved in the process. She want to know what it's all about. What happened when you talked to him? What did you discuss? Things of that nature. Right?
Okay.
I got another one for you. Remember Ruth?
Yes.
Did she court Boaz?
She got to know him.
She slept on his feet, right? That was the one. I know what y'all talking about right now. It was there. I want us to keep it in mind. Communication, time.
Okay.
Time is important, right? Time frame. How long should you court somebody for? I'm gonna get a million answers in the chat right now. YouTube and Facebook is gonna fly out the handle. How long should you court somebody for?
From what I hear,
No. We ain't gonna do that.
because the whole courting thing is from my old teachings. I haven't involved myself in that because I wasn't taught about courting. Um, so what I hear, a year or so, a year or more.
A year or
What
more.
happens? But what happens if, for example, you have two friends, a male and female, and they're just friends, and they're grown up, they know about each other and everything, and they seem like they'll be a good couple in the eyes of their parents, but they don't see that. What happens if they want to be together? Should a courting process still go on, although they know about each other?
Well, you know what I'm going to do. I'm going to put that question back in your lap. If it's important to court, and they've never court, they've only known each other as friends, what do you think? I got an answer for you. I'm going to answer it.
I believe so.
You believe they should court. So what are they finding out now?
Well, there are different views of the Most High. Other things besides what they see every day. You know, what is your goals in life? What is your values? What do you see yourself being the next 10 years? Do you want a family?
Right.
She may not want a bunch of children. Are you into polygyny?
Ooh, the polygyny conversation. That's it. Let me just let y'all know. That's the relationship dilemma part. That's going to be a whole thing in and of itself. But yeah, you need to talk to your potential spouse about if he's into polygyny and if he's trying to attain Solomon goals or if he's trying to attain Isaac goals. Solomon goals, Isaac goals. Solomon goals, 700 wives, 300 concubines. Isaac goals, him and Rebecca. That's it. All right. So it's important to talk about that, right? Come on.
Even a lot of people don't do this today, but I believe health is very important because I'm not sure if it's the sickle cell trait, but I think it's a sickle cell trait. If two people get together and they have that trait, it's a 50% chance that their child can have the disease. I'm not sure about that. And I know it can get personal, but certain things should be discussed because a person should have that option. Hey, I think I can deal with it or not. Not just, hey, we together and 2 years later, I knew I had this problem. I never told you. I think that's dishonest. And a person can't deal with that.
So they should be trading health records? Is this what I'm hearing here? I'm being funny right now. There are some things that are major health issues that should be disclosed. That's what it sounds like you're saying. You know, you got some major health issues. Hey, okay, come on.
Because it may not be something the person can handle. It may not be. That's just reality. And you can't force somebody to stay with you, although it'll be a shame, but you can't force somebody to stay with you if you're dishonest from the beginning. You should have told me this and you knew about this and I laid all my cards down. This is what I have. And you hid this from me because you want to keep me. That's dishonest.
Okay. So if you did court and the person still did that, then what?
If the person told you if they had a health condition,
yeah,
that's up to you if you want to be with that person, if you can handle it. You're giving a person a choice, not just making their decision for them.
Okay, so here's my thing that I'm saying. Y'all are courting.
Right.
Y'all decide to get married.
Okay.
And then he or she didn't disclose their health condition to the other. Can that happen?
It can, but it can lead to dishonesty. That's not right. That's just my opinion. It's opinionated. It's my opinion.
Listen, I ain't mad at you. I'm not. Trust me when I tell you. I think when people have major health issues, if you know that you got something going on that's going to affect me or affect my quality of life, then I should know. Right? There's nothing wrong with that. That is very fair. I don't know if people do that often, but it's there. Okay, let's get some other stuff. Compatibility. That's important.
It is important.
Right? should you sit down and talk about how many children you want to have?
Yeah.
Hey. What if he's like 30? Don't y'all look at me like that. Don't y'all dare sit down and look at me like that.
Yeah.
You had that man in Judges who married off 30 of his daughters, had 30 sons, and then married off another 30 of his daughters.
Yeah, come on, not by one woman.
Well, listen. I know you try to bait me into that polygyny.
I'm not trying to bait you.
But not yet. We're going to get there. We're going to get there, but not yet. Right? Okay. Right. So come on. Ooh, we're living during a time we have to know certain things before a lifelong commitment. Like, have they ever had a homosexual encounter? Ooh. You know that's a whole nother Torah study topic. I'm with you, Gavert Rukama. I appreciate you. But, yeah, and let me just tell you.
Because you don't want that. You don't want your partner, he or she, wanting the other gender, fantasizing, and you know, that wasn't disclosed.
Right. Mm-hmm. So, you know, it's something you need to sit down and have a conversation about. And I'm going to tell you the truth. Me personally, by my guesstimation, I'm like, they're not, you know, they're like, Moray, I listen to you every week. And now here I come. Have you ever had a homosexual encounter? Like, I'm going to expect for them to tell me the truth.
And look at their actions.
Right. And, you know, it's like what cringes, what makes people cringe, the day when somebody walks through the door that you were up to no good with, right? I'm just gonna say that. But I agree with Gavert Rukama. Things happen in life sometimes out of our control.
Okay.
It happens like that. Okay, communication. You get to know if this person is an honest person. I'm hearing about all the things that can go wrong. Let's talk about some of the things that can go right in court. So what can you find out something good about a person? Sometimes you find out the deeper part of people.
Yeah.
They write music, right? Sometimes you sit down and you're like, oh wow, I didn't know that. Sometimes you find out that they're part of volunteer services. I go by a senior citizens home twice a week and I volunteer. I take them out for walks. I help them I set up the senior room for them so they can come downstairs and play games and things of that nature. I help people who have a vision impairment get down to their different places, and I do this for 3 hours during the week, right? Those things can happen in courting people. Sometimes in courting people, you start to understand why they think the way they think.
Right.
Isn't it like a pleasure sometimes when you hear people talking about Torah and they're actually talking about the same things you think about in Torah?
Spiritual compatibility. Yes.
Has to be there. Sometimes you can go and you see how the person is altruistic, right? They think about others before themselves.
Right.
And sometimes that's a good thing. And sometimes, I'm sorry.
That's very important, not being selfish.
Oh, of course. The thing I said is like sometimes some people don't know what to do with it. They're like, oh, she always thinks about me before herself. And sometimes you got to teach the person that you're with. You're like, hey, look, I'm not an invalid. I'm fine. You take care of yourself. I'll be here and I'll wait. Sometimes that's what you can see in a person and you're like, okay, this is good. These are good things to have. Why is it important to court? I'm going to give y'all one right now. because it will help you understand the type of woman or man that will be raising your children.
Okay.
Keep that in mind. Sometimes we haven't thought about how our children would be raised. And as a result, the man broke up with the woman, and now the children are out in the world. Right? Or she's fighting to keep her children to be righteous, and he's feeding them shrimps.
Mm-hmm.
And all types of detestable things that we see going on in the world. You have to know how to create a divine relationship. And part of that problem is you haven't found yourself. What's another important part of courting? Can he take care of you? Uh-oh, y'all ready for it? Dun, 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 dun. Can she take care of you? See, that's what I'm talking about. Say it again.
Taking care of each other. If you're down, I should be able to hold you up. Vice versa. If you don't have, I got you. Vice versa.
Correct. Right.
Being that help me.
And hey, listen, brothers, you better find out, because she might be in a space where she's like, oh, I want you to take care of me. Completely. And that's your job as a man.
Mm-hmm.
And you might be like, I don't know about all that. Right? Got some brothers who's like that. Sisters, that give you the opportunity to know the man that you're dealing with. Brothers, that gives you the opportunity to know the type of sister that you're dealing with. Is she good with finances? Is she willing to help you in your goal? I always tell this thing about Abraham and Sarah. You know, Sarah was willing to follow Abraham to the end of the world. Wherever he went, she went. And whatever his instruction was, she followed. Even when she had to go into the house of Pharaoh, the king of Egypt. She even looked at it and she said, how will my husband have children? And she said, here, take my handmaid. Right? All these things are going on. When you get in the courting process, do you have your, for lack of a better term, using street terms, do you have your ride or die? Is she rolling with you or is she not rolling with you? Sometimes when you court, you get to see how she responds around other men. Right. And every brother will tell you, that's important. Let's not leave that part out. Let's get that right there. An important part of courting is, how many male friends does she have? Right? Y'all know me, I'm always talking about it. Watch that phone. Watch that phone. How many people is she talking to on the phone? Are these extended conversations? Or are these very brief and to the point conversations? And about what? Right? You have to know. Right? So we're going to jump to our second subtopic, because I know y'all been waiting for this part, for those of you who've seen it. And our second subtopic is love at first sight wise? Okay. Oh, yeah, Kia, go ahead, tell me. What is love at first sight? Because I got some opinions about this.
I actually don't even know what love at first sight is.
Love at first sight? Dude.
Is it lust at first sight?
Ah.
Is it I like the way you look at first sight and I get to know how your mind is later?
Mm-hmm.
I don't like your mind. I just want your body at first sight.
So is love at first sight possible? Maybe we need to explore that a little bit.
Is it possible?
It is possible.
I'm saying, I'm repeating the question. Is it possible?
It is possible. You know, did Yaakov have love at first sight?
Jacob, love Rachel?
Yeah. When he seen Raquel, he said, Ben asked him, he said, you can't work for me for free. What is your wage? He said, I worked 7 years for Raquel. How do you make a statement? Laban didn't present the circumstances. Yaakov presented the circumstances. So, do we believe that Jacob was in love with Raquel? I do. You know why? Because it said the 7 years was as a day. All right? He didn't, it was nothing to him. Let me tell y'all something. I've seen men in love. That's love. Let me just tell you right now. If you've never seen a man in love, that's love. When Jacob moved that boulder off the mouth of the well so that she could water the flock, that's love. Right? All that stuff is going on. The Song of Songs, that's love.
Yes.
Love at first sight. Listen, sometimes you can look at a person and tell their disposition now. What I think we miss is the things that cause us to fall out of love with a person. Sometimes you find out some things about them and it makes you hard to love them because of their views. Right?
Okay.
Now, I am not going to dismiss the fact that people lust after people. I think people lust after people often. I think that the side of the eyes is what gets most people in trouble when it comes to relationships, whether they're married or not, because they have not resolved themselves in their mind to stop and say, this is what I should be a part of, and this is what I should not be a part of. Right? Mm-hmm. But love at first sight, is it possible? Oh, yeah. It's very possible. Right? It's very much a space where people can stop and say, this is what I want, and this is why I want it. Right? And the reality is, don't most people grow in love?
Yes.
Okay. So then, if that's possible, then why do I need the courting process if I know I want to love her? Like, golly, Moray, I can't believe you did us like that. Come on.
Find out why you love this person. What is it about this person? Dig more into them. Is it more about this person?
Okay. Let me ask you this. And I'm gonna present a very challenging question. And I want us to not only take this seriously, but I want us to be truthful with ourselves without condemning people and without putting ourselves in a situation. Do we believe that people see how a man treats his woman or how a woman treats her man, and they fall in love with that person by the way they see them treating them?
I believe.
Are you still there? Oh, okay. I thought you were. Okay. Because I'm just going to tell y'all right now. I think that happens more often than people are willing to admit. And that's why you shouldn't look at other people's wives.
Right.
And, listen, we got polygyny, so single women, that's fine. But do people stop and look and say, I want that type of wife or I want that type of husband? And of course, that's what leads into coveting. And coveting leads into adultery, right? And when all those type of things happen, that's when you should draw the line and stop looking over there. And let me just tell y'all this. How many of us have heard the term, the grass is always greener on the other side? The grass is always greener on the other side. So that's why it's important for you to court, because you can now set the expectations for your wife, your future wife. You can now set the expectations for your future husband, right? If you want a 7-course meal every night and she can't boil an egg, I don't know, something tells me something's gonna have to give, right?
Or if she can't cook and you can teach her.
Right. What if you don't want to teach her though?
Really?
Is that you might listen? If you don't know how to cook, you can't.
Y'all take cooking classes together.
Oh man, cooking classes, and what's next? We're gonna be learning how to sew pocketbooks together.
Yeah. Open up YouTube. They got a lot.
Right. Another DIY episode. It's all of these things, right? I am telling you, we have to be cognizant of these things. And love at first sight, listen, one thing I know about this, and I want y'all to be mindful of it, social media. Social media is another one of those things that you got brothers and sisters falling in love with a picture.
Okay.
A picture and status updates, right? That what we don't realize is you don't know if the person who put up the picture, if that's how the person really looks,
Right.
or if that's still how they look.
Or if they even married.
Some
people, or if they're married, because some people will put their picture up there and don't put their marital status.
Their marital status, correct. And so I know this is a big thing of all you sisters who's jumping in the DM and things of that nature. Oh, shalom, sister. How are you doing? I just wanted to tell you you had a beautiful picture. Or, shalom, brother. I like your statuses. They're so insightful. But do people use social media to find a spouse?
Yeah, they do.
I'm sure they do. It's more that love at first sight, right? I just knew from what I saw happening on the internet. I tell us this, and I want us to keep this in mind, because we think this is like a new phenomenon. I'm sorry, Coach Sotai caught me out there, and she's exactly right. It's a catfish fantasy. Absolutely. Right? The reality is that the Queen of Sheba traveled from Egypt. She traveled a far way to meet Solomon because she heard of his fame. Right? All of these things happen. People fall in love with people for different reasons. Some people fall in love with people because of their mind. Some people fall in love with people because of their faith. Some people fall in love with people because of how they're taken care of. He makes me feel special, right? And this is all outside of the courting process. So I'm going to ask this a question, but I want to say this comment from my brother Azar Yahoo first. Love is a process and not something that happens overnight. I agree in part. I think the love can grow stronger, but I do believe in initial love. I do believe in that. You just got to be careful with that. And let me say this. Let me say this. And I mean this for brothers as well as sisters. I focus on brothers, but I'm going to say sisters also. Make sure you love who loves you.
Okay.
That is important. All this stuff about, oh, I've been trying to love him, and you know, I've done this for her, and blah 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 blah. No. Mm-mm. Make sure that they love you when you start loving them, when you start falling head over heels for them, when you start doing all the things that you do. Okay, so here we go. I got a question. Love at first sight is literally, not figurative. Coach Kaza, we're gonna have to break this down one day. I don't know. When courting, should gifts be given to one another? When courting, should gifts be given to one another? I'm like, y'all gonna be like, more, you can switched everything up for us. I'm here to talk to y'all about it.
It's nice to receive flowers.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
So when courting, gifts are okay.
Why not? My opinion. It's not, I don't think it's trying to persuade the person and make your answer faster by giving gifts. If I give her all these gifts, maybe she'll give in faster because she sees I can take care of her. You don't want to persuade somebody into falling in love with you. Then it won't be real.
So when courting, is it okay to give gifts to one another? So flowers are okay. Chocolate is okay.
Dark chocolate.
Dark chocolate. Candy is okay.
Yes.
Shoes are okay. Yes.
If the person want to buy somebody a gift, yeah.
Clothing is okay.
Yeah.
Clothing is okay. Is a car okay? You seem reluctant. You're slowing down.
You're reluctant on that.
Okay, so I'm going to teach y'all something about the bride. Most people don't come out and tell you, I'm bribing you right now. Most people come out when they're bribing you, they're trying to be like, hey, listen, you know, this for this. If I give you this, then you give me this. Okay, so I'm going to ask you the question. And I'm telling you as a man with 3 daughters. Brother A has daughter B who's courting somebody. And brother A sees his 17-year-old daughter who he allowed to court another 17-year-old. And she's coming home with new clothes and shoes and pocketbooks and coats and things of that nature. Should brother A be concerned?
Yes.
Why?
What's happening that you're buying her all these gifts?
You just told me it was okay.
Yeah, but I'm not saying spread out. A gift every once in a while.
Why? Why? What is wrong? Listen, I might agree with you. What is wrong with the perception that's being given? Why do you want him to spread it out? I bought her a car. Matter of fact, she ain't even got a license. You might be benefiting from the car than anything, Mom.
Yeah, but are you?
All right, come on.
Or are you, like you said earlier, are you bribing me with my decision?
You just
Are you
told me.
trying to persuade me
You
to
just
say
told me.
yes?
You just told me it was okay.
Yes, I did say it was okay.
So is it or isn't it? And I agree with Cole Medina here. She's saying it's the intent behind the gift. Y'all are courting. Y'all are courting.
Certain gifts, like
It's
flowers.
an influence of behavior either negatively or positively. I agree with you, Bathsheba. I definitely agree with you. I think gifts are okay to answer that question. No problem. Wait till y'all see my next question. Y'all gonna be like, this guy right here. So come on, let's talk about it. Let's get to it. And y'all can listen, hit that chat up. I was waiting for somebody to bring it. A gift can blind the eyes, right?
Right.
Bribe or impressing. I know the Vert will come. I know she's gonna say her autocorrect got her. I get it. Bribe or impressing, right? Is it okay for the man to impress? I'm gonna show y'all something right now. Did y'all see? Now I gave my example, but did y'all see y'all giving every example of a man giving a woman gifts? Is it okay for a woman to give a man gifts while they're courting? Woo! Let's go, y'all. I want to see y'all all in the chat. Let's go.
I'm gonna buy you a deck of cards. Let's play some spades.
Let's
play some spades.
Wait, you want dark chocolate? I get 52 cards. I get it. I get it. Right? Joker's wild. Can a woman do that? That's not my next question. Just so y'all know, y'all gonna be mad at me for my next question.
You don't make everybody mad at you.
No, y'all. I'm gonna make y'all think about things that you haven't thought about before. So come on. Can a woman do it?
Woman can do it.
Okay. A woman can buy a man a car.
If she wants, I will buy my husband a car.
Well, no. Wait. Don't be trying to switch up the scenario.
No, I'm not trying to switch up, but I'm not going to buy you a car if I'm courting you and I don't know if it's going to go well.
So why is it okay for you to get a car from the man?
I never said you can give me a car.
No. You said it's okay for him to have gifts.
I reluctantly.
Y'all that's in the chat. I want to hear y'all. It's okay for the man to give you a car, but you wouldn't give a man a car. What are we doing right now? Because neither one of y'all is supposed to have the upper hand, right? Or are you going to tell me that that's not ladylike?
No, I'm not saying it's not ladylike, but
listen, I'm here to tell you that's not ladylike. I would ask my own daughter, why are you buying him a car and you're courting? What's the issue here? I'm going to ask my daughter, why is he buying you a car? Is there something more going on here that I need to know about? The type of gift that you have, the type of things that you receive, the amount of the gift that a person is giving to you based on, well, if this is supposed to be purely platonic until, that's the type of gift you should be giving. I get like, what is it? Is he paying your rent? He's paying your rent, really? And y'all are just courting? I would sit down and ask my son, why are you paying her rent? Because if you can pay her rent, then that means you must be in some position to make her your wife. And what you're describing is what husband and wife do.
So can usury be involved in courting too?
Oh, definitely.
I see this man, he want to do all these things for me. I'm gonna let him keep going, but I'm not interested. I'm gonna get what I want, or vice versa. I see that she can take care of me and her. I'm gonna get what I want, but I'm not really interested.
Definitely. Definitely. And vice versa. And vice versa. Do you get, listen, let's keep it real. Do you get people who try to buy your love? That's a whole nother Torah study. I should be addressing that tomorrow, right? In the portion of Balak, right? He was trying to buy a curse.
Mm-hmm.
Do people try and buy your love?
Yes, they do.
So when that happens, you have to be wiser to what's going on. Is it okay to turn down a gift?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And sometimes I'm just going to tell you, sister, something. Sometimes people are trying to buy your love because they want to control you later.
Use it as leverage.
A gift. A car is not a gift. A car is not a gift? Okay. Maybe Gavert Recom is going to explain to us a little bit later how a car can't be a gift. Okay? And Kosara says, exactly, Moray, what's going on? Yeah. What's really going on here? What's really happening?
Did they go out of the courtship? Did they actually do it? This is why these gifts are becoming outrageous and nobody knows about it.
Okay, so here's the thing. We don't really have Torah guidelines on what's appropriate and inappropriate for courtship. So sometimes you got to talk to people about, what it is. I would say if you're courting my daughter, for you to be sitting down talking with her on the phone until 3 o'clock in the morning, I got a problem with that. That might be me. But somebody else would be like, well, if they're just talking on the phone, they're just talking on the phone. People might not like this next statement, but I'm going to give it for what it's worth. After 11:30, those conversations on the phone can begin to go left.
Yes.
So I'm not going to say that it's definitely going to go left. But what I am going to say is they can go left. Now, can they go left during the daytime? Yeah, they can. But you don't need to be up 1, 2 o'clock. Right. You don't need to be up 1, 2 o'clock in the morning talking about those things. Right? Dowry money. If it's dowry, okay, let me just tell y'all. My brother, Rosh Shama, he's somewhere right now watching this, and he's like, yo, I told you, Moray, I want to get in on this conversation. And my brother, Rosh Shama, when I see you, listen, the relationship dilemma part 3, betrothal, dowry, and promises. Is there an exchanging of vows? It's coming up. Don't worry about it. Koyaki is writing this stuff down right now, like, oh, really? But dowry. Sounds like dowry money to you? A car, a gift? Okay. I'm not gonna let the cat out the bag for the next one, but who does dowry money go to?
The father who had virgins.
Correct. So when she gets gifts, no, that's not dowry money. The dowry goes to the father. and it's a specified amount. People name their price, the dowry. But that's another relationship dilemma. Stay tuned, subscribe to the channel, click the notification bell, all that good stuff. Because when we get there, we will get there. All right? But how many gifts you gonna shower your daughter with? I know, Guevara. I'm with you. I'm with you. We like these conversations, and so we should. Because it's about time we have the conversation on a very mature level, right? And let me just tell y'all this as we're talking about all of this. Every man has the right to set the parameters for you courting his daughter. Just because you like my daughter, you can't try and tell me how you are going to court my daughter or what you're going to do. You are going to find yourself in trouble.
Let me ask you something right there.
No.
Do you think, because you mentioned the age 17 earlier, 16, 17, do you believe they should be chaperoned? And that goes into arranged marriages. Do you think they should be chaperoned if they decide to court?
Again, I'm going to say this is up to the, and I want to deal with this comment that's here, so I'm going to let it sit here for a minute. Again, I'm going to say that is up to the parents. I send my children to school every day. They're in school from, they leave out at what, 7 o'clock in the morning? They come back at 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Am I supposed to believe that there's an adult around them every 2 minutes? Am I supposed to believe that there aren't other children that's approaching them? They may not do it in my face, but I'm no fool. And I was a kid once, right? And so I say all of that to say that chaperones are important because you don't just give them free reign to mess up. So sometimes you do need a chaperone. Sometimes the chaperone might be another brother. When I say another brother, I'm talking about family member, brother, or somebody who you can trust. I talked about this before. Sometimes brothers and sisters are up to no good together. You don't tell Abba what I do, and I won't tell Abba what you do. And yeah, we're going out over here, and I know how this goes. We're going out on a date, talk about the bride. The other brother gives him, slides him a 50 spot. It's like, yo, go hang out for a while. Don't tell nobody about what happened. Me and her are going out for a while. We'll be back. Right? So you got to kind of know. But a chaperone's okay and are chaperones important? Yeah, absolutely. Get a chaperone. That stuff works. All of that works. Kokaza says, but for people who know what they want, age matters. The need is important. Well, I'm going to tell you this. As we talk about chaperones, 2 17-year-olds being chaperoned and 2 37-year-olds. A 37-year-old doesn't need a chaperone, right? Okay. Especially, listen, you could be 50 and or 60 looking for a wife. It can happen. I'm just telling y'all right now, no matter how much you may not like it, it can happen. Chaperones? Nah. It's kind of one of those things. Okay, the very comment says, that's what's expensive to accept the car as a gift if you are in a platonic relationship. A man and a woman in a relationship buy each other cars. I'm going to disagree, Gavert Rukama. It's because we don't have money that we think this is actually odd. But people who have money, they do it. It's nothing. It happens. All right? However, Kosara is agreeing with you. The father can borrow the car. Yeah, that's pretty funny. No. That's pretty funny. I'm just gonna tell you right now. You buy my daughter a car, and you didn't come talk to me. We gonna have some issues. Honestly, if someone's calling my daughter and gifted her a car because she needed it, I would think that shows potential and what kind of husband he would be. I can agree with that part. My thing is, how come you are not coming talking to me saying, I bought your daughter a car?
Mm-hmm.
I should not find out that my daughter is rolling around in some new car. I'm like, wait a second, where'd you get this car from? What's going on? Oh, you know, such and such who I'm courting, he bought it for me. What? I don't remember talking about this. Oh yeah, he said he's paying for the insurance and everything. And he told me if you want to get in the car, you can get in the car too. Brothers. How does that sound?
Depends on the person.
Yeah, no. Except for the sellouts. You're like, are you kidding? You be sitting there like, excuse me? Park that car in the street and call him up on the phone. Me and him need to have a conversation right now. Right? Right? It's one of those.
Because I'll be asking my son if he decided to buy some woman a car that he couldn't. Why are you doing this?
Listen, and I'm telling you something that men think about. Men's like, did she tell you to buy her a car? And if she did you do it just because she told you to buy her a car? It's like, son, don't be simple. Right?
Don't be blinded by love, right?
Correct. Well, you hoping one day that after you buy her a car, that she'll say yes? Don't be a fool. I'm going to say Shabbat Shalom to my brother Nekemia. All right, my brother. Absolutely. Shouldn't that one? Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
I can agree with that to an extent, Moray. Should he consult with you every time he purchases a big gift? In my mind, he should consult with me when he buys a small gift. You want to buy a pack of Sour Patch? All right, you buy my blessing. Y'all want me to get started? I'm telling y'all know me. I can get started. If you sitting there and you like, oh, listen, I bought a flight for you so you could go see your grandmother. That's honorable. It is. But that's still my daughter. Show me some respect.
Right. Boundaries. There's boundaries important.
Big boundaries.
Gotta respect the parents.
Right? I don't say you like, oh, I gave her a gift card so she can go get her nails done. What's that? A mani and a pedi? I bought her. All right. But I should know that. I should know the level of the extent of the type of gift so that I can come and I know where you are. And guess what? I'm going to have that conversation with my daughter. I'm going to be like, hey, listen, how do you feel about him buying you gifts? And of course, y'all all love it. Y'all like, he's buying me manis and petties? Yeah, sure. Okay. Are you talking to him about the expectation? Because there's one thing, and let's talk about this for a second. There's one thing I know for sure. When people start buying gifts for you, if you stop tomorrow and they're like, okay, I don't want to court you no more, does he expect his stuff back? And I'm telling y'all, no matter how much y'all are like, it don't matter, it's a gift, he ain't getting none of his stuff back. What if he does expect it back? Then what? That's why courting is important.
You don't get a card back if it's in his name.
You don't think that as a woman, and I want y'all to be real with yourselves as women, you don't think that as a woman, if you're giving a whole bunch of gifts to a man that everybody knows that you're giving this man all these gifts and he just stops courting you and starts courting another woman. Not that he's courting both of y'all, but he just stops courting you and he starts courting another woman after you gave all those gifts. How do you feel?
Used. Okay.
But it's just a gift. So I'm telling y'all, there's a way that all of these things work out. So, how many men can court one woman at a time? How many men can court one woman at a time? I'm going to need you to clarify that a little bit. I think I know what you're saying, but I need you to clarify for a reason. So how many men can court one woman at a time? All right. Come on, go ahead.
Because you do have women who is interested in different brothers.
Vina, my family's from the Caribbean. You know how this goes, sis. You know.
I'm not sure.
Come on.
If he's taking it there's women who are interested in different brothers, and she's weighing out her options. I'm not sure if he's going there, but that happens.
Listen, that's a whole.
It happens.
I ain't saying it happens, but I'm going to tell you this, and I'm going to be honest with you. Be careful. Be careful. Brothers do not appreciate that I'm weighing out my options. If you don't like me, tell me you don't like me, and let's move on. But when you tell me that you're weighing out your options, that sounds like you're trying to see how you can get the best deal out. And that may be true. That may be true. But I'm telling you, all I'm saying is be careful. Because brothers will have a different perspective of you. And it could be somebody that you felt would be a very good husband to you and was trying to be a good husband. Trying to be a prospective good husband to you. If you're taking the courtship slow and respectfully, a gift is usually on a much less expensive tier, right? Listen, maybe for you, but I tell you what, when Abraham's servant pulled up on Rebecca, he put a jewel on her nose, he put some bracelets on her wrists, he put a chain on her neck. What did she do? She went and told her father. She went back in the house. Where did you come from and where is the name? Right? I want us to keep that in mind. All right? Vina, I don't know what you're saying, absolutely not to. But
I think it's about giving back the gifts. I'm not sure.
Oh, giving back the gifts? We didn't discuss that when I was gifted it. I think there's a lot of sisters that agree with Vina. That's like, if it's mine, it's mine. This is my jewelry now. Listen, I'm just trying to tell y'all something. A man that wants his stuff back shouldn't be courting. Is he recycling his gifts? He might be. You never know. And let me just tell y'all this. How do you know that when he gave it to you, it wasn't
the previous ones?
Right? Don't give what you cannot afford to give. It's not about not affording to give. It's about that the man is like, you used me. Right. Oh, yeah, some Sour Patch Kids. Mm-hmm. It's a cold Kazi. You know how it's go. Right?
Extra super.
Real men cannot. Boys. Okay. All right. No problem. No problem. I get it. Oh, man. Y'all are funny. I'm just going to tell y'all right now. Take courting seriously. Take courting very seriously. I'll put up our next comment because this is funny. And I'm in the car. I bet a lot of sisters are keeping the car.
Yes.
I bet a lot of sisters are keeping the car until you find out that the car is still in his name.
Yeah.
I know. Then he's being petty, right? Then that's shady, right? I'm just telling y'all something. Shouldn't a father weigh his options for his daughter as well? Isn't he looking for the best deal as well? Courting can be competitive, can it? Okay.
Now, so
Go ahead.
You have two brothers that's interested in your daughter.
Yeah.
She don't know nothing about it.
Yeah.
And he knows their family. He knows who can afford her
Mm-hmm.
and who can't. Do he have the right to choose the best option for her?
The short answer is yes, he does. However, shouldn't she have some say in who she wants to marry? The short answer is yes. I don't want you marrying him, and you're not marrying him. We don't like that. But the reality is, you see what Saul did. David followed all the parts of how he could get Michal, and he was given Michal, and then Saul took her and gave her to another man. But no takey backsies. Wow, this is funny. Right? But there shouldn't be a level of competition. The competition should be only to who gets to talk to her first. Who gets to talk to her first? Sure, it does, because she's taught etiquette and her worth. I don't know about competition. Find out who you like. Get to know that person. And if you don't like that person, then move on. It's okay. You can break a courtship. You can break a courtship. But what happens when you're in the midst of the courtship and y'all are touching each other, kissing on each other, and all other stuff? Does a guy believe that y'all are going to be married? Does a woman believe y'all are going to be married? I've taken gifts back. I'm guilty. You know what?
One per year, not law, but highly recommended.
Listen, next comment. I would give it back. Good riddance. Hey, listen. Why have the memories? Right? Some people are like, nah, you didn't see the gift I got, though. How frugal. How frugal. Listen. Not the ladies today. Listen. I hear y'all. Come on. Cole Medina says, I don't think it's competition. I think the father has options for his daughter. I think that's what the comment was saying. Okay, if it's not competition, then fine. But I'm going to say, when you're courting, get to know somebody. Which comes to another one of our supplemental questions. Is it okay to court more than one person at a time? Ooh, I'm going to sit on this right here. I'm going to wait for the comments to come on in. If you want to comment beforehand, Coach Yakia, by all means. I want to hear from y'all. Is it okay to court more than one person at a time, male and female? And you must justify your statement with an explanation.
So, that, number one, it doesn't look right. A female courting two men. That don't even sound right. That's why I said earlier, some women do that, but how is she looked at? Now, she got these two men, weighed out her options, and she picked one. This other guy found out. Well, when was you courting her? The same time we were courting? Now, how does that look in his eyes? Now she's called certain names. Oh, you this, or you that. Well, the law doesn't say that I can't court two men. I'm weighing out my options. I want to see who can take care of me.
Come on.
So now she developed this reputation, which is not good. And other women look at that. How can she do that? How can she get away with that? Is that like adultery? They will use these women,
Unseemliness.
giving wrong perceptions of certain things, leading these men on. And in the courting process,
Mm-hmm.
we talked about the touching and everything. Is she doing that with these two men?
Mm. Maybe that's the reason why y'all shouldn't be kissing and doing all other stuff during the courting process.
Of course.
I think it's okay to date more than one person at a time. But when you're courting, then you're focusing on one in the hopes of marriage. Courting is the Super Bowl. I'm just going to tell y'all this right now. Girls, you can't do what the men do.
No, men can do it, but
You still be a lady. So, exactly. You don't date more than one person at a time. And if you're getting to know somebody, get to know somebody.
feel like you said, we can't do what men do. And that will be said, well, we just courting, that's it. But yes, men can do that because there's polygyny involved. It is being done. So we can't use that excuse. Why can't we do it? That's just the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
They can't get them. Y'all can't get a name the way that we can.
Correct. Okay. Two men, I'm confused. No. That's the space that they're in. She's courting one and she's courting another. Right?
And then the brothers start fighting. Who had her first? Who started talking to her first?
I like this comment from a co-Sarah. She says, men can't always do that. Women know you risk your reputation. And men talk.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just tell y'all, as a man, that's an accurate statement. That's facts right there. Israel for Life says it can open the door for whoredom and coveting.
Mm-hmm.
Kaza says, no, it's not law. Kosota says, Western mindset courting, no. We are the rebel nation taught to test the waters sooner rather than after fulfillment of a ketubah. Makes you want to go, okay. All right. Would a virtuous woman court two men? I love it.
Absolutely not.
I love it. I love it. I love it all. Virtuous woman would not court two men. Not law for a woman, not against law for a man. Because it's whorish.
And like I said earlier, what if these two brothers find out they're courting the same woman? And women are easily set up too. See how far you can get with her. That's just how it is right now.
Correct. Courting is not like comparison shopping. Ooh. Thank you for that, Basheva. Courting is not like comparison shopping. Boy, I might have to quote you on Facebook for this one. That is beautiful. All right. Thank you for this session. It is what it is. Where is that? I think it's important to call multiple people, but not at the same time. Get your calendar in order. I don't know about that one. So everyone knows Akosu Kanya. She's a good friend of mine. I appreciate her. But, you don't have to. Let me just tell y'all something. And I'm just going to give y'all this for what it is. You don't have to believe that you need to see how different people are before you make a decision. Sometimes you can have just what God wants for you the first time. It's okay. It's all right. Jacob, Jacob had 4 women. However, he didn't have to go and doing, listen, I know y'all get with this whole thing, but he didn't call Leah, he didn't call Bilhah, he didn't call Zilpah. And all of them became his women. Right? Isaac never courted Rebecca. She came and she came and she said, "Who is that?" And he said, "That's my Lord." And she got down off the ass. She knew that she was going to become his wife and follow what he told her to do. So I'm telling us all of these things, and I want us to keep this in mind, because as we move forward, you don't need to get to know different men. What you need is to find out the type of man that you want and look and observe, right? Instead of worrying about the gifts and things of that nature, look and observe and see who's who and what's what, and build and grow from there, right? And if you see what you want, get with what you want. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But you do know after a while, people are kind of looking at you like, now listen, we're not a big group. We are not a big group. After a while, brothers are going to be like, did you courted her? Oh yeah, I courted her too. Oh yeah, I courted her too. Oh yeah, I courted her too. Right? So you have to know how people perceive you and what you're doing. If multiple men ask for the same single woman, she consults wise counsel. If multiple men ask for the same single woman, she consults wise counsel.
Should she consult wise counsel?
Well, hey, listen, let me tell you something. Nothing wrong with doing your homework, right? First of all, if you're a pretty woman, you are going to get multiple offers. You're going to get multiple offers before you get married, and people may even approach you while you're married. Okay, that happens. That's fine. You should do your homework before you choose somebody. Hey, what do you know about this person? Blah, blah, blah. Just know when you start asking about somebody, other people are going to know that you are interested. And they'll be like, oh, she's asking about Yaakov, and this is why. She must want him, right? And as you're seeking out wise counsel, I want y'all to remember this also. If the brother you're asking about, if the brother you ask wants you and doesn't want you to get with the other brother, he may be willing to paint that brother in a bad light so that you won't get with him. And the same thing goes with brothers looking to get with sisters. You think you're going to ask her friend about her, when in truth, her friend is like, no, but I want you. So does that happen? Oh, you don't want to talk to her. She's already caught in such and such. And then the sister gets upset and she's like, well, why did she tell him that? Because me and him are already breaking up, and I always wanted to court that brother. Does that happen?
Yes.
I just want us to keep this in mind, right? So I want to make a comment to Gaveret Yerusha when she says Jacob really didn't want all of them. I agree, and Shabbat Shalom, my sister. I agree. Jacob really didn't want all of them.
Competition with babies.
I said, however, he still treated all of them like wives. Right? So he didn't want to, but he still had to handle his business. Alicia says, very Alicia, Shabbat Shalom to you as well. No, as a female, she should not be courting more than one man. I agree. You court to get to know him and see if he is the one you want to marry. You may get confused courting two men. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. I agree. So that brings us up to subtopic number 3. Uh-oh.
Oh, sorry.
Hmm.
It jumped down.
No problem. Arranged marriages and needing a cover. Hmm.
Mhm.
Okay, somebody tell me what a cover is. That cover should be capital C. Don't worry about it. I'll fix it.
Um, a cover supposed to be
Supposed to be. Go ahead.
someone who is looking after you, a person that you go to seek counsel as far as finding a mate, and they helping inquiring about the guy of your choice, or if there's men interested in you, he can talk to them, fill them out, and see if he fits you or not. He's a protector.
Hmm.
He's
Okay.
supposed to be a protector. He's supposed to be a covering. And from what I'm supposed to be understanding, not supposed to be getting under the covers with you. Supposed to be a protector.
I wasn't ready there. Under the covers.
Not under covers, he's supposed to be protecting you.
Okay. Okay. All
And
right.
that can happen. The covering can
The
find
covering makes his move.
look. The covering can make his move too.
Hmm.
And just by what things are said, he can say, no, you're not right for her because he wants her.
Hmm.
And she doesn't know, but she's getting to know her covering too. So maybe is that a tactic as well? A covering can be a tactic of manipulation, trying to get her, and she's supposed to be finding someone else. And he's supposed to be helping her. A
Hmm.
covering should, to me, be someone, an elder or someone in your family who can vouch for you.
Okay, so if the father is there, why would a woman need a cover?
She
I'm just asking.
she shouldn't if her father is there.
Mhm.
Well, maybe he don't. What if he's not in law?
Mhm, mhm.
So she needs an example, someone in law who's going to look after her. Or what if he's not of the age?
So she comes out of law.
No, what if her father is?
Go ahead.
What if she's in law and her father isn't?
Right. So her father's not, because he doesn't know law, he's not capable of making these decisions for her?
No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, what if he's not into the whole our culture, and she wants somebody that's in our culture who's going to look after her?
Hmm. Okay. So I got a couple of opinions on this. One. Um, you can never, ever, no matter who you are, take away a father's right to determine what's best for his daughter.
I agree.
Only in limited circumstances where the father is putting the daughter in harm's way. But in this instance, if a father says that his daughter can court the way she likes, whether he knows law or not, it's fine. And the son, like that's that's gonna be his future father-in-law, right? So you gotta kind of look at it and be like, all right, hey, this person's my cover, but this is this. I think if that's going to take place, that the person who's going to be the cover should talk to the father. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
That's how that goes. I read this thing about I hear this thing about a cover, but we never read it in the Holy Scriptures. And I'm going to tell you the truth. And I've been around Israel for a little while now. I haven't really heard about this cover until maybe like 2010-ish, 2015-ish, right? Seems like an as of late type of thing. And as admirable as it may seem, sometimes the brothers who are talking about being the cover are not people who look like,
prestigious men.
Right. So, for a person who doesn't know, she might be like, yeah. And when I hear about this cover, can a brother be a cover for a sister one day, and then can the sister say the next month, I don't want you to be my cover anymore? Right?
Mm-hmm.
But it can work out. I'm just going to tell you right now, it's very possible it can work out. But you should be careful. Right? Now, like with all things, I'm just telling y'all right now that if you got a man who doesn't like Israelites, who is an Israelite, sister, you may be sitting there waiting a long time for a husband that's never gonna come. Right? Can that happen? Because when you have a cover, it is akin to an arranged marriage. Right? It's like, I need you to determine for me who I'm going to marry. And sometimes, and I'm just going to tell y'all this, I ain't mad at what y'all want to get done. But you are going to have to realize that the cover has to have your best interest in mind. How many people are making decisions and they don't have your best interest in mind? They have their best interest in mind. How often does that happen? Right? I want you to remember that. There's a level of responsibility that a person has for another person's soul. But I'm all for it. Covers, mentors, mentees, right? I tell you, make sure you pick a spiritual leader and things of that nature. So when we have this, and when we talk about this cover, we have to have some rules to this, right? I sit down and I tell you, sisters, y'all got boys? Make sure you watch the type of women that are gravitating to your sons. You don't want just anything in there. I bring up Yitzhak and Rebecca again because Yitzhak and Rebecca did not like the daughters of Chet. They didn't like them. So when that happens, how do you handle that? What do you do? Right? So the Facebook person says, Facebook user, we can't see your name, so that's why I say the Facebook person. What makes a man a valuable cover? Okay. First of all, if you're going to have a man who's going to be a cover, I'm going to tell you this right now. First, he should be a person who knows Torah. Second, he should be asking you what you're looking for in a man.
Okay.
Third, he should be taking your age into consideration and know how you want to marry. Right? Are you looking for somebody your age? Do you mind dating an older man? If you're a middle-aged woman, do you mind dating a younger man? And he should be able to identify for you where you should look at. It's not his job to find a husband for you. It's his job to vet. I want y'all to look that up. It is his job to vet the people you bring to make sure this is a presentable brother, in spite of his mistakes, right?
Okay.
I want us to remember this. Sometimes we're looking for perfection when we're not close to perfection. I want perfection, but I have faults. There's something wrong with that. Oh yeah. That type of thing happens. Your cover should also be teaching you what you have to do to court somebody.
Okay.
If it's going to be a cover, if you're saying this is what you need, right? Then he should be telling you what courting is about, so that when you lay down the ground rules, this is what you can say. When do you need a cover? I'm gonna tell you when you need a cover. You need a cover when you are trying to get to know, I'm gonna use that terminology just like that, when you are trying to get to know a non-Israelite, and he's used to dealing with the ways of the world, and you're trying not to be sucked back into that. I think you need a cover. I think you need a cover if there's not a male presence in sight, because a lot of these male covers, let me just tell y'all all this stuff that's going on. If the father's not there, then the brother should be taking over. If the brother's not there, then the uncle should be taking over. If the uncle's not there, then a close family friend should be taking over. Somebody who there's no possible conflict of interest. This idea of brothers swooping in from out the blue to say, hey, listen, this is what you need and this is why, I'm not with it. I am not with it. Right? Now, maybe the men in your life don't have your best interests in mind. And if the men in your life don't have your best interests in mind, then yes, it is okay to find somebody, right? It is okay to find somebody who will help you make better decisions concerning your relationship status. Should that role of cover should be the next of kin to the daughter? Possible. Next of kin is possible, right? It should be people that are around. It should be people that are close to the family. Sometimes it can be a cousin. I understand that cousins are okay. I may not agree with it, but cousins are okay. So sometimes it should be your cousins, right? It should be family members. Strangers, I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm just saying you should be a little skeptical, right? Let's get some comments going. It should be a person of a righteous mindset. I agree with that. Come on. This person should not only know the law, but actually be following it. I'm going to tell you this, and Shabbat Shalom to you, Akot Basheva, and thank you for joining us again. I see that you made your way back. Torah Yehovah. I'm just going to tell y'all this, and I'm the spiritual leader. Good advice is good advice. I don't care who it's coming from. If it's coming from a child, if it's coming from an adult, if it's coming from an elder, if it's coming from a non-God-fearing individual, good advice is good advice. If you could be playing in the middle of the street, and if you say, don't play in the middle of the street like me, because you could get killed and get hit by a car, that's good advice. So the only thing that I'm going to tell you is, yeah, it's kind of hard to follow people when they don't follow their own advice. I'll be the first one to admit that. But just make sure they're giving you good advice. So Coach Shavanya says, some of us have no one. And that is true. That happens. There are sisters that don't have no one. There are sisters, especially as you begin to get into middle age, right? You don't have anybody that's like that. And then it is okay to seek out somebody that would help you with the process. But I'm going to be honest with you. When we get into our middle ages, we kind of know what we want. Some people are preying on people. Some people are trying to manipulate you. Sometimes there's some things you need to know about the brother, right? Sometimes there's some things you need to know about the brother. But some of this stuff, nah, you know how this goes, right? Arranged marriages are important for these reasons. The heart is deceitful above all things. Listen, what's that thing Yakia said earlier, right? Discipline. Discipline is very, very, very important, right? I'm just telling you this. Kaza says, I believe married men are best to be coverings. It's not guaranteed, but they should be less likely to lust. Okay, Kaza, I'm gonna just have to drop one on you right now. Oh, no. I'm telling you, you can run into brothers that will be like, oh, she must be asking me this because she wants to come into the fold. So, I understand it's your opinion. You believe. We get it. I'm just telling you, don't believe that it's a given because the brother is married. It's not a given. Right? The very Yerusha says, I don't know what a cover is, but years ago, there was a matchmaker who was a woman, usually older, helping to find a mate for a male or a female. That can happen. I agree. That can happen. It can listen, some people need to be pushed together. I'll be the first one to tell you that. That's why I think arranged marriages happen. Some people don't know. Sometimes you gotta sit down and tell your son, you like, hey, listen, you know she likes you, right? You be like, don't underestimate a woman who's willing to do anything for you. I remember when I was in, all right, let me not do that. When I was a younger man, this is what I'm gonna say. I had a woman who told me, she said, you can always want the fine woman and all that other stuff, but don't think the fine woman is always it. Ain't nothing wrong with the fine woman, but don't think the fine woman is always it. You got some people who will be very loyal to you and will make you feel loved, and that cannot be replaced. Right? So all of that is there. So Coach Kaz is over there yelling. She started getting excited, but I know it's a lot of love. A single man will be more likely to desire you as a wife, Moray. You heard me. Yeah, you're right. A single man will be more likely to desire you. But just because he's single, that don't mean he wants you. You gotta remember that. Just because he's single, it doesn't mean that he wants you. So there's some balance. Married men, single men, righteous men. Right?
What about the having the elders being coverings? Is that kind of safe?
I'm going to say this again. How old was Abraham when he took a concubine? I got to just put some perspective out there.
Over 100.
He was well past 100, right? No, listen, I'm telling y'all something. Don't believe because he or she is an elder that they can't have feelings. You don't become an elder and stop having feelings in your body. Maybe I need to talk to the elders. Talk to some elders. I'm no elder. Talk to the elders. Find out what's going on. And you'll see. Right? So maybe there's a case where females should be covering for females. And even sometimes in those scenarios, something's happening. So you just have to be careful. And if that's what you feel you need for you, then do that. There's nothing wrong with that either. Because guess what? You're trying to find out who God will allow you to have a fruitful life with. That's what you're trying to find out. This is the whole name of the game. Eve was brought to Adam. Adam wasn't courting Eve. Adam wasn't like, God, you brought this woman to me, but I don't really get along with her. That wasn't an option. That's just how it worked. It was what it was. So I'm telling us that as we move forward, because for us as a people, we need to make sure we understand how we're going to do things and how we're going to ensure that we have successful relationships as we do those things. There's a courting process. Is there a dowry process? Oh, I know. Listen.
I got virgins, daughters.
Right. Dowry process, a betrothal process, engagement, and then the marriage. All right?
Okay.
So all of those things are there. So I'm just telling us this because as we move forward and as we see all the different things going on, I'm telling y'all, we must understand how we are going to do things in order for our relationships to be better. Koyakia, do you have any final statements before I close this out?
The courting process, of course, is opinionated, but if you will do it wisely. Try not to be blinded, so you won't be able to see the person's intentions, and just have an open mind. Sometimes we allow our feelings to come into play when it comes to courting.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about the flesh, instead of thinking about the person's mindset, their goals, and where do you see us at spiritually. So communication is very important within that. That would determine if you want to be with that person or not. And hoping that in the courting process, you're not just saying these things just to get the person. You're going to do it after you get married. Don't just stop. Like you're going by your word and you're living by your word with this person, not just to get them, and you change up. That's not right. Not saying it can't happen, but don't just do all this stuff for me just to get me. And then later on, oh, I got her. I could be myself now. So
I'm going to ask you, does that happen in the reverse?
Yeah.
Shucks. I'm just trying to tell y'all something. No, and let me just tell you something. That happens. What you're talking about, that happens. There's no doubt about it. Right? It happens. But what I'm saying is make sure that you're looking at both sides of the coin. That's all I'm trying to say. Now, Kobasheva says, when courting, one should look to our forefathers and not to the customs of the nations. I agree, but I don't know where we're going to find courting in our Tanakh. But when y'all find it, please point me to the scripture and I'll be more than willing to read it. But I'm almost sure it ain't in there. Akot Kaza says, I would love to join the discussion on polygyny.
I'm writing it down right now. I'm quoting her on that.
And keep me posted. No excuses here. All right, listen.
I got you.
You know me. I'm with all that. I am with all of that. All right. And brothers and sisters, I am going to say this as we close out. Just remember, Communication. I don't care how you communicate, just make sure you communicate. And make sure that when you go into a relationship, you plan to love the person. And remember, people make mistakes. Everything isn't going to be perfect. There will be some highs, there will be some lows, but remember to keep God in the situation. Brothers and sisters, we hope and pray that you got something out of what we said, that you enjoyed our Torah study, and may the Most High God continue to be with you all. We have a couple of announcements as we close out. First things first, brothers and sisters, I want us to keep in mind tomorrow at 9 a.m., your spiritual journey awaits. Congregation ShomrayHabreet, please join us for our Sabbath service. We will be doing a portion of Balak, Numbers 22:2 to 25:9, and the book of Micah, chapter 5, which is the Haftarah, verses 6, chapter 5, verse 6 to chapter 6, verse 8. The teachers will be Mori Yeshaya, and myself, Mori Yiftach. We invite you to discuss the word of God as it is written in the Holy Scriptures. Brothers and sisters, please bear in mind, tomorrow we will be virtual only. Please pass the word. Tomorrow we will be virtual only. We're still doing renovations there. There's still some things going on, but we will be returning the following week. So tomorrow we will be virtual only. So please join us online. Please pass the word if you haven't heard already. Also, next week will be the time. I know y'all thought we was doing the relationship dilemma part 3, but oh no, we're gonna take a break. I gotta let this marinate with y'all for some time. The Keepers of the Covenant, Torah Study, Sisters Talk. Let's worship God. Friday, July 22nd, 2022 at 7 p.m. Psalms 150 verse 6 states, "Let everything that has breath praise Jehovah." Glorify the name of Jehovah with us as we bring in the Shabbat day with prayers, songs, poetry, scriptures, and testimony. We all need a little inspiration, so let us inspire you. Akoyakia, do you have anything to say about that Torah study?
I'm excited. I'm trying to get my arms together just in case I want to play the congas. So we'll see what happens with it.
Okay, all right. And I know she also wants to say, if some of y'all want to get on for the Torah study,
I have like 3 spots available.
okay.
Anybody want to jump in? Just text me, email me, and we can go from there.
Amen. 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 And Nicole Kaza, I appreciate you for your happy 1-year anniversary. But I'm here to tell you we are coming up on our 2-year anniversary. So that's coming up in September. In a little while, in a short while. All right? Nicole Sotai, you know we appreciate you. The very Yerusha says, I would first say, write a letter to Yah asking for direction and guidance in this matter. Put down what we want in a mate and asking not to make your journey hard. Oh yeah, write a letter. So where say it, say a prayer. Write it down and say it to God. Absolutely. Wonderful lesson. Toda Gavara. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Virtually.
Okay.
Ahavia says, blessed be the Most High, so grateful he allowed us to have this constructive conversation. Wonderful Torah lesson. Bless you both and your loved ones continuously. Have a delightful Shabbat, family. Remember the Shabbat day to keep it holy. All right. Coach Kaza says, Coach Kaza says, okay, 1 year for me. Yeah, I'm close. No problem, Coach Kaza. You know, we're happy to have you here. And Coach Shavani says, Balak, the wicked king, calling the sorcerer Balaam, to curse us, but we cannot be cursed because we are already blessed. Let me just tell y'all, I want y'all to keep this in mind.
Amen.
While the nations were looking to curse us and they were afraid of us, we were busy fighting with Moses over who's in charge. I just want you to keep that in mind. As we sit here and we're like, oh, God is never going to save us because of how we act and this, that, and blah, blah. You don't know how close God is to saving you. You just make sure you put yourself in position so that God won't kill you. All right, everyone. I thank you for joining us. Can everyone please rise and face the east as I give us our final prayer? Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Yahweh God, God of the heavens and God of our forefathers, even the God of Abraham, the God of Yitzchak, and the God of Israel. We give you thanks and praise, Yahweh God, for all things and for everything, even for blessing us to make it through another beautiful Torah study. And we ask, Yahweh God, that the things that we've learned this night we wouldn't forget, but that you continually bless us with the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding to understand what we need to do in order to complete your Torah. And I ask, Yahweh God, that you bless us in the fast that is to come. Bless us to have a good fast. Bless us to have an easy fast. And enlighten us, Yahweh God, and give us Torah clarity. I also ask, Yahweh God, that you allow us to enter into a holy rest this night, so that, Yahweh God, when we lay down, we will rest, relax, rejuvenate, that we might rise up to continue to give praise unto your most high and your most holy name. Bless all of those who speak before your people. Bless all of those who come to congregate before your people. Bless all those who are searching to hear the word that you bestowed upon your people. And have it to be, Yahweh God, that we would be that nation so desired once again. We call upon you because we realize that you are God and God alone, and that beside you there is no other. All glory, all honor, and all praises unto your name now forevermore. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Amen.
Amen.
All right, brothers and sisters. And also, please remember, next week, Wednesday, July 20th, from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., we will be having our fast. All right? We will see you all in the morning. Shabbat Shalom Lakem and Lalatem.
Lalatem.